From BLC Studios in Mankato, Minnesota, this is the Maverick Hockey Live Podcast, presented by Dunkin, with your host, Shane Frederick.
This is the Maverick Hockey Live Podcast, presented by Dunkin. My name is Shane Frederick. I'm the host, and joining me today is Hockey Day Minnesota hero, David Silye. How you doing today, David?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Hey, congratulations on the big win on Saturday. You get your first college hat trick. The snow is falling. The atmosphere is unbelievable. You know, a couple days later, you know, how do you reflect on it? What was it like?
Yeah, I'm still kind of thinking about it. You know, it still hasn't really sunk in that. That whole day was just so special and so memorable from everything. They did a great job with putting it all together, the whole event, and, you know, all the fans and the support that they gave us. It was just incredible to see the fans cheering, walking up over that hill, coming up for warm-ups. It was like, kind of even know. I think we were all kind of speechless. And with the snow and stuff, I mean, it was I don't think any of us would really change it. It just added that much to the experience and kind of brought us back on the outdoors, especially being from Canada and Ontario. There's a lot of late nights on the ODR, so it was a ton and an experience I'll never forget.
So you grew up playing outside a lot of hockey outside. I mean, you're in Minnesota now, where all the Minnesotans think they invented hockey, right? So, and obviously as a Canadian, you disagree vehemently, I'm sure. Yeah.
There's definitely right after school. As soon as school was done, we'd get the skates and be out there all night long until dark. So, yeah.
And you know, to have an atmosphere like that, where I'm sure there were nights where it was snowing, where the puck is hidden underneath the snow and you're trying to make plays, and whether you're skating or some people playing boot hockey or whatever it might be, did you really think about that when you were out there, and did it have any effect on the way you tried to play, you know, considering all the elements? And I know one thing Coach Hastings said going into the weekend was trying to emphasize for you guys to keep it simple out there, because of, you know, you didn't know what the elements were going to be. Take me through that. Did some of that come into play for you? Yeah,
absolutely. I think on the Friday we were lucky enough to practice out there, and you tried to go to shoot and the wind would blow your stick back and you'd be losing the puck. So that was kind of the first time, okay, well, maybe we have to change some things up. It's not going to be normal. And coming into Saturday, it was obviously snowing, and I think a lot of the guys can see the puck. I think Livy was trying to take a one-timer, and he just hit all snow and didn't know where the puck was. So we definitely have to change, but one of our strengths is our skating and our ability to protect pucks and stay over pucks. And I think that kind of helped us out. We just played simple. I think a lot of the goals that you saw were kind of bounces because of the outdoor game, weird rebounds, and because the goalies were off their angle or puck stopping here and there. So definitely changed it, but I think we did a good job of just keeping it simple and just playing how it came to us.
It was pretty cool to see on your third goal the reaction of the guys, and we've seen that a few times this year. This team's had 5 hat tricks, which, as long as I've covered this team, I don't remember there being 5 in a season. And it hasn't necessarily been the usual suspects getting these hat tricks. I mean, with yourself going into the game with 2 goals, Wyatt Ama getting a first one for a defenseman in over 20 years. It just, what was that like? What was that moment like for you to, kind of complete that? I mean, you watch the replay, and it's an unbelievable play by your line mate, Andre Pavel, and to kind of get the puck over to you off that rebound. What was that like?
Yeah, like you said, you go 20 some games and get 2, and then you get 3 in 1. It's kind of like, okay, well, it's kind of funny, but I think it just speaks to our team and our teammates. I think as soon as one guy gets 2, where everyone's pushing to get 3, and it means a lot, especially to a guy like me and Wyatt, that they have the support like that. But I mean, with the skill we have on our team, and if guys are looking for you, it's pretty easy just to stand there and put the puck in the net. Like you said, Paz made a great play, get into the net, and I was fortunate enough to be there. So it's really great to see that our team, we got a special group of guys and really rally together. It is special.
So what's it like been for you this season? You've been playing. I think you've played in every game. You came in as a transfer from Clarkson. What went into that decision a little bit? Maybe talk about that a little bit, and how you ended up at Minnesota State.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is kind of my first year of experience college hockey the way it should be. Last year at Clarkson, it was weird for everyone going through COVID, and the first 2-3 months of the season, we're practicing in 3 different groups, and you're warming up with masks, and you don't even know if you're going to play. And then all of a sudden you get a game scheduled like a week before you're like, okay, well now I'm playing, and then you're in college. So it was that last year was definitely a weird year. So it's been really nice to, experience college hockey, all the ups and the downs. I mean, it hasn't been easy for us. You got to really work, and it's been eye-opening as well. You got a great program here, and there's a lot of differences than when I was at Clarkson, I think in a good way. And I appreciated the fact that I have gotten an opportunity here, and I think it was a good decision to come here.
Was it summer when you committed here, or was it pretty late in the process? It seems that's when I seem to remember seeing your name come up.
Yeah, I mean, originally I was planning on going back to Clarkson, but then with that extra COVID year, it helped me in the sense that I could transfer, but some guys stayed back that weren't really going to, so they had a lot of older guys that were coming back, and just the way the lineup was working, and the year I had last year, there wasn't really a great opportunity there for myself, and so I took advantage of that COVID rule and decided to transfer, and kind of tested the waters late in the summer. Like you said, I think it was a week before the transfer deadline that I decided to do it. So, no, it all worked out. At the time I was, wasn't really sure, but yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with.
How did Minnesota State get involved? I know you had a few contacts. You played with Ryan Sandlin and Penticton of the BCHL. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I committed to Clarkson pretty early, so I didn't really have a relationship with a ton of teams. I think Clarkson was the first team I ever talked to, and the first one that offered me. So being an hour away from home, I kind of jumped right on that.
Sure.
All my friends went there. It was kind of the place to be in Ottawa. So I didn't have a ton of relationships outside of Clarkson, but I had some guys on my side that knew Hasty, knew Bluey. I know he left a couple weeks later, or I think it was like 2 or 3 days later. But they just had relationships with them, and luckily they were able to reach out and kind of start the recruiting process that way, and had a good conversation with Hasty, good conversation with Nodder, and obviously Paulie came a little later. But I just really liked the feeling that we had. It just seemed like the words they were saying were honest and true, and they had a good culture here, and the program kind of speaks for themselves, and kind of the history that they have here, and
sure,
the teams they've had year after year. So,
and it's a tough, it's a great place to be, and their history over the last few years. What kind of program that they've become. They were a Frozen Four team last year, top 3 in the country when COVID shut everything down the year before that, which also really means that it's going to be a tough lineup to break into and a tough spot to break into. But you found a way, and it seemed like early on, a lot of trust was put into you. Defensive zone faceoffs. You've been pretty good in the circle. That you certainly were this weekend on faceoffs and draws, and you've just really seemed to have found a niche or a spot. How do you think that happened? Was it something that you felt like you earned right away? Is it just a comfort level? What how do you end up getting into that lineup where you're playing every night and really contributing? If not scoring a hat trick on hockey day, you're certainly contributing in other ways.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me was that it was clear right from the get-go what they were bringing me in for. Hasty was very clear that third line, kind of their fourth line, playing kind of those other minutes, and face-offs and penalty kill. We talked extensively with Nodder, and thinking that was an area they kind of wanted me to fill coming in. So I think that made it easy. It got me in the summer. I was like, okay. It was kind of easy to think when something's clear, it's easy just to go out and do it. And I was able to do that and earn some trust early on in the season, and been trying my best just to kind of keep that and kind of hoping that it kind of develops into a little more.
It's interesting in this program, just what people have seen over time, and that you have kind of those roles like that, whether you're a third liner, or a fourth liner, top 6, bottom 6, whatever you want to call them. But as games go on and players are playing well, lines are playing well, you've probably seen this already several times, that there really is a feel and a trust factor from the coaching staff. If you pay attention to the game, you see players who you might not expect that they're getting the extra shift now and then, or they're getting that extra ice time, but it seems like when things are going right and going well, coaches aren't afraid to play those hot hands and put those lines out a few more times. Is that something you've noticed over time, and just kind of make yourself ready at all times?
Yeah, definitely. I think the one thing about our team is that I don't think there really is, you can't really call it a first line, fourth line. I think everyone can step in any situation. And I mean, the hockey world likes to put a label on top six, bottom six, but in reality, everyone's a top six forward on our team. And, which makes you better in practice, kind of creates that culture and accountability that, if you want to move up, then you got to be ready when it's your turn. And the one thing that Hasty does well is that if you're going, then he'll play you. So it's kind of nice that your efforts and hard work will be rewarded, knowing that. And I think it pushes all of us, because now your fourth line guys want to get out there. So then your first line guys better be kind of gone too. So, and I think all in turn makes us a better team. And I think we've seen the results from that.
What do you like about the way this team is playing right now? You're coming off that sweep of St. Thomas and Hockey Day and all the hype around that. Now you're going to go into a non-conference series against Arizona State, and then go for the final stretch run in the CCHA. What do you like? Where would you like to see things get better, whether it's for yourself or for the team as a whole?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for us is that we take pride in kind of the little things, being a more mature team. We understand that the little things are what is needed to get wins, and I think you see that in a lot of our games that we play. We hold teams to very minimal shots, and we're not afraid to block shots. So I think that's the biggest kind of strength in our game is kind of sticking to it and doing the little dirty things that other teams aren't willing to do. Staying above pucks is something we talk about a lot, finishing our checks. And so I think that's what makes us such a great team. And you pair that with some skill that we have, then it's kind of a deadly duo. And I think that's kind of what I like about our team.
Is there anything about that surprised you? I mean, even if you started paying close attention as a college hockey player last year, knowing that Minnesota State was, a top 5, top 2 team in the country, did you have any impression of them prior to coming here? And has any of that surprised you, as things have gone on?
Yeah, I mean, I obviously heard that they were a top team before, and Sandy, I talked a lot with him, but I think the biggest impression that I was kind of like, okay, welcome to college hockey. It was just practice. I remember the first practice, everyone's on top of each other and pushing each other and really competing. And I remember going like first week, I'm like, oh my god, this is, okay, here we go. And then I remember getting into a game, and it just made the game that much easier. We're breaking pucks out with ease, and those battles. I was winning battles that, like one-on-one battles that were easier to come out with the puck. And it all starts with practice and our practice habits. When you're practicing kind of against the best, then, it makes it easier.
What do you like going up against in practice?
Me and Kidder kind of have some good battles in practice, so he's always fun. When I see him one-on-one or something, I always give it a little extra. Sure.
A little bit of background on you. You grew up in the Ottawa area, is that right? And your dad is you got some athleticism in the family. Your dad was a professional football player in the Canadian Football League. What do you know about his career? And I think he was a defensive back, right, and punt returner. And what was his career like? And how do you think some of that athleticism maybe rubbed off on you?
Yeah, I think he'd been retired for 30 years before I was even born. So he's I didn't get the chance to really follow his career that much, especially back when he played. There wasn't many tapes, but I have been able to see a few of his highlight reels, and he did a great job in the football world, and really he earned everything that he got, and I think he still has a CFL record, which is kind of cool. I kind of brag about that sometimes.
What record is that?
The most punt returns in a season. So I'm not sure. Yeah, it's a cool record, but I think it speaks more to the defense than you just have to stand there and catch it. So I got to humble him a little bit.
So your dad is Jim, right? And he played for Calgary. I looked this up earlier today, from 1969 to 75. And did he win a Grey Cup?
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
He went back-to-back Grey Cups. I think they went in 1970 and lost, and then he won in 1971.
Okay.
Or it could be the other way, but
that's pretty cool. That's an old trophy. I mean, that's I think it might be older than the Stanley Cup, isn't it? or something like that. I mean, it's kind of a cool traditional.
That'd be cool. I think the one story that I find funny is that in the one they lost, he had a punt return for 60 or 70 yards for a touchdown, and the one they lost was the one that he fumbled, or the one that they won.
The one that we won.
Yeah, he ended up fumbling the punt return, and I guess they got the ball on the 6-yard line with very little time, but then they end up fumbling the next play, so he kind of got saved. So I always find that funny.
Did you play any football as a kid?
Yeah. I played a little bit growing up, and then we lived in Calgary at the time. Just my dad being a stampeder and stuff. Mm-hmm. That's kind of where he had business. But once he decided to retire, he wanted to go back home. Okay. In Arnprior, which is about 45 minutes west of Ottawa, and so that's kind of where I spent most of my high school and in kind of elementary school, and played a little bit of football there, but all my neighbors were playing hockey. Everyone at school was playing hockey, and so you kind of want to be like your friends. And sure. So I just kind of ditched the football and played hockey.
Was your dad a hockey player at all, or did he have any influence on you there?
Yeah, he actually played. Well, back then I think they played every sport. Sure. He played baseball and everything, but he was a scrappy kind of two-way winger. But he actually had an offer to go to St. Lawrence College up in Canton. Yeah. Which would be, So he had a choice between football and hockey as well, and he chose football, and I chose hockey.
Did he play college football then somewhere?
He played at Ottawa U.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, he stayed there. So
excellent. So do you have opinions on the CFL versus the NFL in terms of rules and that sort of thing? It's always fun to watch those games.
Yeah, it's different. I guess with the 3 downs, it flows a lot quicker. There's a lot more punts, so
which is good for your dad.
Exactly. But I think the NFL is definitely a lot bigger, and tend to watch that a little more than the CFL.
Sure. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So, we'll get back to what's going on this season with you guys. This is one of those seasons where I think people are really looking at this team doing some special things, and it's hard to believe that it's winding down already. And you guys are already at about the same number of games that most of you played last year as players. And has that been a factor at all? Where the grind of this season last year was so short. I'm not sure how many games you played in last year. It looked like. Did you guys? I know MSU got 28 games, and that's what they're at right now. But is that something for you guys where you're feeling the grind of the season, kind of getting to that point now and in late January, and trying to make sure that you're fresh for the stretch run? Yeah,
I think. I mean, a little bit. I think with the previous year, I think we're all just excited to play hockey, and we're excited that it's a normal year. Mm-hmm. The past 2-3 years have been kind of long and dragging on, and as much as your body breaks down, you're just excited to play hockey. And it's crazy to think that we only have so many games, and then we're kind of down to it. But no, I think we're excited for what's to come, and hopefully have finish off a strong season.
Sounds good. Well, I need to mention this. I made a promise as just to mention that the jerseys that you guys wore, which were awesome. I don't know. Did you agree? Did you guys love absolutely. The jerseys guys wore for Hockey Day?
They did a great job with them. Yeah.
So they're auctioning them off, and just a little plug. You can go to msumavericks.com/HDM jerseys. You can get yourself a David Silye jersey for who knows how much that's gone up to right now. It'd be interesting to see what the most popular ones are, but you had the hat trick. So
yeah, I mean, I'm curious. We'll see. We'll have to wait and see.
And Dryden seems to get the loudest cheers going into when the announcements are made. But
yeah, I'm sure his will get pretty high.
That's pretty good. Well, I thank you for coming up and doing the podcast today, and wish you best of luck going forward this season.
Awesome. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
All right. That's David Silye of the Minnesota State Mavericks. I'm Shane Frederick. We'll see you next time.